Hello, Hardee's. Welcome to the Wayne Cosnard Aftershow here on JLJ Media. I'm James Lott Jr. It is my reaction to episode 8 that just aired. Sorry for the lateness this week. I was on vacation in Kansas City, visiting family and relaxing, and I am back now, and I watched the episode, and so now I'm here to talk about it. So before we begin, this is just let's just get it all on the table. Let's just get it out now because this is part of the storyline. And apparently, I'm seeing a lot of online. Oh, my keys just moved over there. Online dissension and discussion. And I didn't think we'd be here again, but I know I mentioned a couple of things a couple of episodes ago. So I'm going to talk about it now and kind of tell you kind of what I see possibly. I'm not a writer. I'm not on the show. I don't know what their intentions are, but it's just me kind of interpreting a little bit of what I'm seeing. And that is, of course, Nathan and Elizabeth. I was talking about it because this episode, they were brought together several times. The Montague situation, that's one, and he is the constable. And number two, the little Jack situation. And Allie decides she wants to babysit, little Jack in the evenings. Has little prices. They play hide and seek and that whole thing. And so there's the whole Nathan and Elizabeth sitting there talking at the table while Allie is sleeping. And he asks about the talks. How's it going with little Jack? And they have this close, very close moment. I know here is the problem. And I totally get why some folks are like, see, they belong together. The problem was, I say the problem, I'm saying problem as to kind of be funny a little bit. There was chemistry for me between Elizabeth and each of the guys. And you know the other guys, Lucas, of course. There's chemistry between both. When all that stuff was going down, I'm not gonna rehash all that. That's a can of worms. But just for sake of this show, because we're an after show and I'm talking about the reaction of this, there was just fortunately or unfortunately, for better or worse, all three actors, there's chemistry between them. And we also like the Lucas Nathan friendship and how that's kind of developing like that. Of course, I like Lucas and Elizabeth and their contrasts, how they work well together. But also, if she had chosen Nathan, I would have been fine with that too. And I was never, and you go back on the episodes and watch them. They're here on JLJ Media. Even when we're back in AfterBuzz, I never picked a side. I never chose a side. Kind of. I was like, I liked Lucas and Elizabeth because it was something different. And I always said this: Nathan would be kind of the natural choice because he's another Mountie, and maybe they don't want to go. Maybe that's a too obvious choice. But I've always said I'm a Team Elizabeth person. I will always choose Elizabeth and whatever she chooses to do. So we cut to several years later. They have to have a friendship of some sort, right? They have to. I mean, it can't just be just angry, bitter exes or just don't talk to each other when they walk by. I mean, they're both prominent members of the of Hope Valley. And he is a Mountie, so he represents a part of her life that she did have with Jack. So to me, and he also lost his sister and he's raising her daughter. So there's several things that actually work. Now, if we flip the other side of that, when little Jack left Lucas and ran over to Allie and Nathan, I saw some folks saying, well, that was his choice. Little Jack would rather be with them. I think they're trying to, I don't know, I didn't write the show. I am not Derek Thompson, I write the show. And I haven't watched any of the interviews or anything he's done with anybody. I just, as just a person of viewing it, I view it almost as an act of he accepts Allie, because he already knows Allie anyway, that he accepts her as a part of his life. So his little kid, he sees her, he's running to sit with her, which kids do sometimes. They leave their parents to run, whatever. I don't think it's rejection of Lucas at all. I didn't see that. I didn't think of it that way at all. But I can see where some may interpret it that way, but I didn't. I thought, well, I just feel like, they're major characters. Nathan's a major character on the show. And they have to have some kind of relationship. They have to. And on some level, there's always going to be something between them. That's just life, right? Anybody I ever cared about, on some level you care about them on some level, unless you become friends or friendly with them. There's some exes, you're done with them, you're done with them. You know, never again. I could never twain shall meet the whole thing. But in some cases, it is you're friendly. It just didn't work out between you two for whatever reason, and you care about them. You just want to make sure they're okay. But there are things that I'm sure remind her of Jack. And I don't know. I think another thing that's happening this season, they gave Lucas and Elizabeth kind of a date. They go around the bridge. They talked a little bit about Montague, of course, and whatever, and he's here for her. And I think that's another complaint I know for some people is that there's not enough romance on the show. Now, I happen to agree with that. I still stand by my statements that this seems like to be a show that's not the same show it was before, back in the day when it first started. But they're also showing the growth of this town, hence the choir conversation, having the governor come. I guess it's a town that's growing and growing and getting bigger and more popular. So we're seeing this ensemble show deal with that. And yes, there's several characters I wish they would get back to and show more of, but it's an ensemble show, so they're moving around. And Hickham's so funny because he's a character that I think he should be bigger. He's been on the show for a long time. And I'm like, are him and Sue making beautiful music together, so to speak? Are they the next coupling? I think why not? I'm like, why not? I can see it happening. I have no problem with that whatsoever. But he's a longtime member of this television family. Bill. Okay, so Madeline is something weird going on. We get there's something weird going on there, right? Every time Liz would try to ask about Jamie to Montague, Bernard, he didn't know what's going on. There's something where I was weird man, there's something going on. But I was like, again, there was Molly. So I don't we just never gonna talk about it. Just never gonna bring it up. Never nothing. Nothing. Crickets. That to me is a little, it's like that just, I know some shows just they drop storylines and that's it. But a lot of us, we care about the characters so much. They were just kind of like, so I guess that was just a crush. So going back to Nathan, we talked about how him and Faith didn't work out. His Faith broke off with him, and he's kind of like maybe he's done. Is he done with love? And there was a look between them. Yes, I did see it. I'm choosing to interpret it as she cares about him. She did care about him at one time in a certain way, but she doesn't want him to feel like he can't fall in love again. She wants the best for him. She wants the best for him. That's how I'm looking at it as. Now, I've seen other theories out there, and I'm like, well, I mean, maybe I could be completely wrong. This show does surprises. I've been completely wrong before. But also I've been right before too in some ways. So I don't know. I just think as a show, they don't put them in scenes together all the time. But I think probably if there was more of a balance, because Lucas and Elizabeth have a bunch of scenes together. They always meet up throughout the show many times. They always meet up throughout the show many times. And a lot of times they're walking and talking or having interactions. This episode was more about Elizabeth starting to put her nose in this business. Something's wrong. And Lucas wanting her to leave it alone. Which is a natural, to me, that's totally natural difference opinion. And I think it just was very interesting that we see a lot of them. But I think we saw romance. But then I know there are folks who thought they were being too much on a season or two ago. So it's like, how much romance do you show? What's the balance of romance? Do you show a lot or some? But I do feel like in general, where are couples? I mean, yeah, Lee and Rosemary have been front and center, as they should be. Florence, and Ned are married, but they don't really show them really doing anything together. Nobody else is in relationship. Oh, and we have the Canfields, of course, they love each other, and they show them a little bit. But all the ladies, gentlemen, they're all just floundering around. There's a lot of romance happening. So I do think there's some missing parts. That's what I'll say. I think if there was, it might tip the scales. I don't know. I'm not speaking for everybody, of course, speaking for me. But I when it comes to the Nathan Elizabeth thing, unless they are going down that road again, I have no idea if they're trying to say something. or using him as an example of her working through her stuff with Jack. Her going to the cemetery, loved it. Now, I have one little thing I was going to say about that. You guys agree on? Why don't I think Jack's tombstone should be bigger? I had to check a little bit. I was like, yeah, it's nothing. It's tiny. And he was a big part of his community. He was a big part of the town. I'm like, really? You got a small tombstone? You shouldn't get a bigger one? Now, just me. I would give him a big one. But I love that she went to talk to him. I wish there was more of that, actually. Because I think this is natural for a widower or a widow to have take their time in terms of having to work through that issue. I think she has feelings for Lucas and she loves him on some level, but of course, she loved Jack. And and he's the father of her child she's raising and seeing him and has a name and everything. So to me, that's natural also. I don't see any problems with those. Maybe I'm being Pollyanna. I'm trying to think of it as, I'm not trying to do a triangle. However, if they are going that direction, there's some setups already happening right now that we just mentioned that could be used towards that. But I'm trying to believe that it's more of they're trying to show that they have a connection. I think when he left Allie there and he closed the door and he looked back, he was hurt by Elizabeth. So show his pain, sure, why not? He has the pain from it. He was, she chose someone else. Remember, he was into her. So, maybe he is unlucky in love right now. But that's another one too. I'm like, why aren't him and Faith together? But she had Carson. I mean, so I don't know. Yeah. There's just a lot. There's not enough romance on the show, I think, on some level. And I think that's what's hurting it a little bit. I don't know. But Elizabeth and Nathan, I'm going to think positive. Like they're just trying to show us that they could be friends. He represents a Mountie. I know the next episode I saw the trailer, and she says, I can't go through this again. That could just mean another Mountie person she cares about. She can care about Nathan. It's totally okay to care about him. Because she would be a cold-hearted person if she didn't care about him, right? I mean, that's how Elizabeth cares about people, right? That's the whole point also. The choir stuff was fun. I mean, everything else was fine. It was a fine episode. Rosalie and Henry, of course, they wrapped that up neatly. I'm glad at least they included a scene with Molly. Let's show homegirl act. Come on, let's do it. She could do it. And redhead, I love them gingers. The redheads together, I love it. So he did show that, and I'm glad he gave them a scene about forgiveness. And then Rosalie and Henry are coming to some kind of agreement. But again, this goes back to season 1. I love that they're bringing it all together. What else am I missing here? I guess we'll find out more about this Malice situation. There's something fishy completely, obviously. Bill and Henry are funny when they were talking. It was really funny. And Henry goes to Joseph and pray. And I love that also. And they mentioned Laura is off at teaching college. Hey, Laura, we love Laura. And I guess Rosalie will be back into the nursing program. So that I just think, because the show was originally about a Mountie and a teacher and the whole thing. There are still Mounties there and things happen, and I think they're friends. So I'm going to go with that direction. We're going to see, we have a few more episodes left, obviously. So we're going to see what happens. I'm too nervous. If it's going another direction, I'm already nervous already. I'm just going to think. I'm thinking, no, this is just that. But I'll be here reacting to everything every week as it comes out. Normally we're Mondays and I put them out, but like I said, I've been doing other things and busy and take care of family stuff, and then I took care of myself and went to Kansas City and had a great time. Hello Hardys are all going to be meeting. I wish I was there at the family reunion that's coming up. Hardys reunion is coming up. I've been to one and they're wonderful. So if it all works, I hope I get safe travels getting there. Hope everything works out. shout out to Brian and Patty Bird and everybody up there. Everybody's doing everything, to the whole staff and crew and cast. Everybody putting this together. Have a good time. Enjoy yourselves. Be surrounded by other hearties. Enjoy yourselves. Take it all in. It's a great experience. And hopefully maybe if they have one next year, I can come back to that. I can come to it. Just things going on. But I love you guys. And thank you to all the groups that let me post in their groups. Shout out to all of you. Shout out to my Ohio Hardies, Michigan Hardies, everybody in the mix. I was in the Midwest. I know I didn't get a chance to meet any Hardys while I was there. Just it was a quick kind of trip, and I got sick in the middle of it all. It was all crazy, but I had a good time. And maybe next time I'll meet up with some more Hardys across the country. That's something I would love to do. Shout out to all of you. I'm James. I'll talk to you next time.